The steel cable snapped with a sound like a gunshot. It whipped through the air, slicing past a man's helmet, slamming into the mud with violent force. Workers dove back, shouting. The crane operator slammed his controls, trying to stabilize the load, but it was already too late. The massive drilling rig didn't move. Not even an inch. Its wheels were buried deep in the soaked earth, swallowed almost halfway up by thick, sucking mud that clung to it like it had no intention of ever letting go. Kill it, someone yelled. The crane engine roared down, leaving behind a heavy silence broken only by the low hiss of hydraulics and the distant rumble of thunder. A group of engineers stood a few meters away, their boots half sunken in the sludge, staring at the immovable machine like it had personally insulted them. "It's not going to work," one of them muttered, shaking his head. "We increase the load, we risk another snap," another said. "We're already pushing the limits." Around them, workers murmured anxiously. "3 tries now. That thing's cursed. It's impossible." The word spread like a quiet infection through the crowd. "Impossible." Then, from the edge of the gathering, a calm voice cut through. "You're using the wrong kind of power." No one reacted at first. The words didn't match the chaos. They didn't belong there. But a few heads turned. An old man stood just beyond the crowd, his clothes worn, his posture relaxed, his eyes steady on the buried rig. No urgency, no panic. Just certainty. And then, cut to black. When the scene returned, the rain had eased, but the ground remained a battlefield of churned mud and deep tracks. The drilling rig sat like a defeated giant, tilted slightly, its weight pressing deeper with every passing minute. Time was not on their side. "Do you have any idea what this is costing us?" The project manager snapped, packing back and forth, his boots splashing. "Every hour that thing sits there, we bleed money." One of the engineers, a tall man named Harris, folded his arms tightly. "We know the cost. That doesn't change the physics." "The client doesn't care about physics," the manager shot back. "They care about results." Harris turned, pointing toward the rig. "That machine weighs over 40 tons. The soil underneath is unstable. It's not just stuck, it's sinking." Another engineer added, "We've already tried a dual crane lift, reinforced cables, even traction boards. Nothing holds." "And the more we try," Harris said, "the deeper it goes." A nearby worker muttered under his breath, "So what, we just leave it?" The manager stopped packing. That question hung in the air. Leave it. Abandon a multi-million-dollar machine. Lose the contract. Lose the jobs. The manager ran a hand over his face. "No, that's not an option." "Then what is?" Harris challenged. "Because we're out of solutions." Silence followed. Not the calm kind. The heavy kind. The kind that meant everyone was thinking the same thing, but didn't want to say it out loud. They were stuck. By midday, the frustration had turned into something sharper. Irritation. Ego. Blame. Another attempt was made. Another failure. This time, they tried using a reinforced steel cable attached to a bulldozer on higher ground. "Slow pull," Harris instructed, "no sudden tension." The engine growled. The cable tightened. The rig shifted. Just slightly. A ripple of hope passed through the workers. Keep going, keep going. Then, crack. The cable snapped again. The recoil sent mud flying. The bulldozer lurched backward. And the rig. It sank deeper. A collective groan rose from the crowd. Harris turned away, jaw clenched. "That's it." The manager stepped forward. "What do you mean, that's it?" "I mean it's over," Harris said, his voice flat. "It's physics, it won't move." "You're giving up." "I'm being realistic." The manager stared at him, disbelief turning into anger. But before he could respond, "Excuse me." The voice came again. Calm, unshaken. The same old man. He had moved closer now. Close enough to be seen clearly. His face was lined with age, but his eyes were sharp, observant. Harris frowned. This is a restricted site. The old man didn't react to the tone. Instead, he looked at the rig. How deep is it stuck? Harris blinked, caught off guard. What? How deep? The old man repeated. Another engineer scoffed. Does it matter? The old man didn't look at him. What's underneath? He asked next. Clay, Harris replied automatically before stopping himself. Why are we answering him? The old man nodded slowly, as if confirming something. Then he said, almost to himself, that explains it. Harris exhaled sharply. Look, we've got this under control. No, you don't, the old man said, still calm. That hit harder than any insult. Harris stepped closer, and you think you do. The old man finally met his gaze. Yes. A few workers nearby chuckled. Here we go. What, you got a magic trick? The old man didn't react to them either. I can pull it out, he said. This time, the laughter was louder. Pull it out, one worker repeated. With what? Your hands. Even the manager cracked a tired smile. Harris shook his head. We've got engineers here with years of experience. So do I, the old man interrupted. That quieted things just a little. Harris studied him now. Really studied him. All right, he said slowly, let's hear it, what's your plan? The old man didn't hesitate. With my engine. A pause. Then, what engine? Someone asked. The old man answered simply. A 1915 steam engine. This time, the reaction was immediate. You're joking. A steam engine. From 1915. That thing belongs in a museum. The old man let the noise pass. Harris gave a short laugh. You want to use a 100-year-old machine to do what modern equipment can't? Yes. No hesitation. No doubt. That annoyed Harris more than anything. You're serious? I am. The manager stepped in, rubbing his chin. And where exactly is this engine? Not far. And you think it can pull that out? I don't think, the old man said. I know. The confidence in his voice created a ripple. Not belief, but curiosity. The dangerous kind. The manager glanced at Harris. We're out of options. Harris shook his head immediately. This is ridiculous. Is it more ridiculous than doing nothing? The manager shot back. Harris didn't answer. Because he didn't have a better idea. The manager turned back to the old man. Bring it. An hour later, the sound reached them before the machine did. A deep, rhythmic chug. Slow, heavy, unmistakable. Heads turned. Workers stood up. And then they saw it. The steam engine rolled into view like something pulled out of history. Dark metal, thick wheels, pipes and valves glinting under the fading light. It wasn't fast. It wasn't sleek. But it had presence. The kind you felt in your chest. Unbelievable, someone whispered. Harris folded his arms again, watching closely. This won't work, he muttered. But he didn't walk away. No one did. The old man climbed down from the engine, moving with practiced ease. He didn't rush, didn't speak. He just began preparing. Wood was fed into the firebox. Water levels checked. Valves adjusted. Every movement deliberate. Every action precise. The crowd gathered tighter. "You really think this will work?" one worker asked another. "I don't know," came the reply, "but I want to see it." The manager stood near the front, eyes fixed on the scene. "If this fails," he murmured. Harris finished the thought, "We're done." The old man finally looked up. "Ready." Chains were brought. Thick, heavy. They were attached carefully. Not the way the engineers had done it. Different angles. Different positioning. Harris noticed. "Why like that?" he asked. The old man didn't look at him. "Because you were pulling against it," he said. "I'm pulling with it." Harris frowned, not fully understanding. But he said nothing. The engine hissed. Steam built. The air grew thick with anticipation. "Here we go," someone whispered. The old man pulled a lever. The engine came alive. Not explosively, but steadily. Power building like a heartbeat. The chains tightened. The rig creaked. Mud shifted. "Wait," someone said. It moved. Just a little. "Keep going," the manager urged under his breath. The engine pushed harder. The sound grew louder. The chains strained. The rig lifted, then stopped. The engine struggled. The movement halted. And then, nothing. Silence. A few seconds passed. Then the murmurs returned. "Told you." Wasn't going to work. Harris allowed himself a small, tight smile. The old man shut the engine down. But he didn't look disappointed. He walked toward the rig instead. Kneeling slightly, he studied the ground. Touched the mud. Pressed his boot into it. Watching. Thinking. Harris approached him. "You had your shot." The old man didn't respond immediately. Then he said quietly, "You're still thinking about force." Harris frowned, because force is what moves things. "No," the old man said, "understanding is." He stood up, looking at the rig again. "You don't fight the weight, you work with it." Harris crossed his arms. "And what does that mean?" The old man pointed. "Your angle is wrong, your timing is wrong, your pull is wrong." "That's a lot of wrong." "Yes." Harris exhaled sharply. "All right, show me what right looks like." The old man turned back to the engine. "Watch." Adjustments began. Chains repositioned. Angles shifted. The setup looked unconventional, even risky. Workers exchanged uncertain glances. "This better work." The manager stepped closer, tension written all over his face. "This is the last try," he said. The old man nodded. "I know." He climbed back onto the engine. Steam began to build again. Slowly, deliberately. The air seemed to hold its breath. "Come on," someone whispered. The old man gripped the lever. Paused for just a moment. Then pulled. The engine roared louder this time. Not chaotic. Controlled. The chains tightened again. The rig groaned. The ground cracked slightly. "Wait, do you hear that?" The sound changed. Deeper. Stronger. The engine wasn't just pulling. It was pulsing. Rhythmic bursts. Timed. Intentional. "What is he doing?" Harris asked, eyes narrowing. The old man adjusted the lever again. The rhythm shifted. The chains flexed. The mud began to give. Slowly, almost imperceptibly. Then, a sharp crack. The rig lurched. "It's moving." The shout broke the silence. Everyone leaned forward. The engine pushed again. Another pulse. Another shift. The rig rose higher. Mud releasing its grip. Keep going, keep going. The ground trembled slightly. The chains screamed under pressure. But they held. And then, with one final, powerful surge, the rig broke free. Completely. Rolling forward just enough to prove it. For a second, no one spoke. Then the sight erupted. Cheers. Shouts. Disbelief. He did it. That's impossible. No way. Harris stood frozen, staring, trying to understand what he had just seen. The manager let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Then he laughed. A loud, relieved, almost disbelieving laugh. The old man shut the engine down. The noise faded. The celebration continued around him. But he didn't join it. He climbed down quietly, as if nothing extraordinary had happened. Harris approached him slowly. How did you? The old man wiped his hands. You relied on power, he said. Harris waited. I relied on understanding. Harris looked back at the rig, then at the engine, then at the old man. For the first time since this began, he didn't have an answer, only respect. The manager stepped forward. We owe you. The old man shook his head gently. No, but it's done. He turned, beginning to walk away. Wait, Harris called after him. The old man paused. Harris hesitated, then said, What's your name? The old man gave a small smile. Doesn't matter. And then he left. No applause. No recognition. Just the quiet sound of his footsteps fading. The engine sat still behind him, steam drifting into the air. A relic. A solution. A reminder. The manager looked at Harris. Well, he said. Harris nodded slowly. Yeah. The camera lingers on the freed rig, then fades, and a voice speaks, calm and reflective. Sometimes the newest problems don't need more power, they need deeper understanding. A brief pause. If you believe experience still matters in today's world, hit subscribe. Another beat. And tell me in the comments, would you have trusted the old man? The screen fades to black. Like the video if this surprised you.